What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Spandau Ballet. And I'd like to start by giving a big shout out to Philip, who shares a great deal of music with me and my channel, and by virtue of that, everybody else. And when I went to do a Spandau Ballet reaction about a week ago and realized I was out of material, he stepped up and sent over the remaining 3 records, so big shout out to you, as well as to Han Solo, who shared the Spandau material before that. But yes, we're up to Through the Barricades, 1986. I did notice a quirk when I was looking in the folder that Phil shared, in that the proper album only includes an opening tune, which we're going to hear here, which has a parenthetical of introduction. That's called Barricades, but the title track, if you will, Through the Barricades, is actually a bonus tune, meaning it isn't on the normal or original version of the album, which I found interesting. Nevertheless, the first track is called Barricades, Introduction, and then the second track, which we'll listen to, because I'm assuming an introduction, if it's labeled that way, is likely to be short or maybe not even a song per se. It's called Cross the Line. Now, cross the line, that's a phrase that can be used in different ways, but typically it means going beyond the range of expected or accepted behaviors, and to cross a line can be a grave or egregious action, one in which is seen in a very negative light, one which goes beyond the pale, to invoke another idiom. But yes, I suppose crossing the line can be a more positive or at least desirable action or engagement if the situation, the status quo, is seen as undesirable. So to cross a line, to start a revolution, could be crossing a line, but one that on a larger view or on a moral view would be something that is valid and justifiable. But in many contexts, crossing a line is something that can be negative or problematic or seen as completely inappropriate. So cross the line, I feel like it could go in different ways. So let's see what Barricades, Introduction, and then Cross the Line is all about. This is Spandau Ballet 1986 from their Through the Barricades album. Male dress shoes or heels? I'm going to say heels. love their style, man. So, trying to think about concepts after the song started, I immediately thought, a barricade is meant to prevent mobility. It is meant to block someone's travel or ability to access the other side. So, as a historian, my brain goes to the revolutions of 1848, where barricades were often used, and all sorts of specific examples. But to generalize, it is a line that is not supposed to be crossed, or that people are preventing or attempting to prevent others from crossing. So then cross the line seems to have a direct relationship to that, and it does sound like it's seen as more of a positive thing in this first actual track, second track on the record. Because it's saying, I think, take a chance. At first I thought he was saying take a stand, which is actually more about preventing movement and not just getting rolled over by something else. And so it's about, I'm not going to budge, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to stand up for preventing other people from imposing on me. But I think it was actually take a chance about crossing the line, coming over to the other world on the other side. And while that could have a larger scale or scope meaning, what I maybe took away is that we're talking about taking a risk and taking a chance on another person and making a connection with them instead of just staying on your side and keeping to yourself. But I was laughing because there was a line that came in very early on and then it came back around, and maybe it was like the other side or the other world, but it sounded like we can't see into Ottawa, and it was like, oh, what, we were up in Canada? Like, what was that line? So I don't think it was Ottawa, but that's what my brain heard twice. But yeah, again, sonically, they just have this style that, even without Hadley's voice, which is very distinct and recognizable, I think you could immediately tell it's a Spandau tune. We've got swanky sax. We had a bit more guitar, maybe, than I've heard in a lot of their tunes, and a bit more edgy, or at least, harder sounding guitar work. But still, guitar, saxophone, we've got some keyboards, and then again, Hadley's voice just soaring and smoothly going over the top of it. So I could hear 3 seconds of that in the middle of the track and instantly know that it was a Spandau tune, which I think is a testament to the way they just have their lane. It's not, something where it sounds like, oh, there was this other band before this, and who knows, they may have taken inspiration from a lot of pre-existing bands, or maybe they were trying to do things that other bands were doing. I've heard some Duran fans talk about how, Spandau was kind of seen as maybe not the nemesis, but the competition or the rival to something that Duran was doing. I hear them very differently. And not just because of the presence of the sax in way more Spandau tunes than I can think of off the top of my head in Duran tunes. Not that it doesn't exist, but again, to me, they just kind of have their own lane, and they do it very, very well, and I think this is another example. So, the opening track, there's a bit of the live sound, we have someone's footsteps, a light rain sort of sound, but then some melodic elements that really came together well. It was almost like a synth pop concerto or something. Now, it was very short. It ultimately couldn't have been more than a minute and a half long. But still, it was a very compelling and intriguing opening, and then we get that guitar coming in with Cross the Line, and that really, takes the intensity up to another level. The sax comes in right after that, and it's like, I feel like I'm home. It's like, oh, it's a Spandau tune. I know exactly where I am when I hear that. So, I don't quite know what's happening, but as I said, I feel like Cross the Line is being depicted or expressed in a more positive light, taking a chance, being willing to go outside your comfort zone and checking out the other world on the other side, which maybe before you cross the line you can't see what's over there, Ottawa or otherwise. So yeah, a really cool opening. I expect I'm going to enjoy this album too. I know Spandau isn't for everybody. I've talked to some people who, I never really got into them, or I just don't, I've heard people say even specifically that Hadley's voice is sometimes a bit over the top. It's a big voice. He has a big delivery in a lot of cases. So I get why it might be seen as a bit rich, but ultimately I think it fits their sonic arrangement very well. So to me, I think it's going to be a cool album. I'm looking forward to it. Shout out again to Phil. Let me know what you think of these opening 2 tracks, and I will see you next time. Peace.